use. And then, of course, double-click works too. So in our intro class, we teach a formula that uses the function called concatenate. And if that doesn't sound familiar to you, that would make sense because I had to learn it to learn how to do this. But basically, there's a formula where you can take two columns. And again, someone in the district said, hey, Mr. J, we got this situation. We've got first name and last name in two different columns, dadgummit, and we want to have it last name, comma, first name. What's the formula for that? And so we teach how to do that formula. But this is flash fill, example 1, and no formulas are needed. So here we have last names. Notice that some of them are not capitalized, and over here the same. Lauren McCall didn't get it either way. So up here, we want to do last name, comma, space, first name without doing a formula. We just simply, and because we want Gable to be capitalized, watch this. Capital G, A, B, L, E. Did something not just happen? I'm sorry, I was looking the other way. I don't know what just happened. Let's try that again. Oh, I hope this isn't going to be a problem. I haven't hit enter, so we should be fine. Machine learning, if you mess something up, sometimes it'll be lost on and it won't work. So we want to try this again. So let's try that again. G. I don't know what happened. Might be a Zoom thing. Who knows? All right. So I haven't clicked enter yet because I want to make sure it's exactly right. So Gable. Then I want to put a comma. Then I want to put a space. And by the way, in the formula, this requires all kinds of clever little symbols and things to make this work. And then I want to put, of course, the first name, Clark. And there it is. And so remember, whatever's in this, whichever cell you click on, it'll be represented up here. If there's a formula, you'll see a formula. And certainly there's no formula, but we have the right formatting, so we're good. So I'm just going to hit enter. And it jumps down to the next one and says, well, now what do you want to do? And so machine learning is trying to follow what you're doing. And if we did this right and I didn't screw it up by accidentally hitting the wrong key before, we should be fine. So Gardner starts also with a G. It thinks we're trying to do Gable. Well, let's put the A in. Still thinks we're trying to do Gable. But Gardner, the third letter is an R, so we put an R in. Oh, thank you, it worked. Sometimes you make a mistake and then it won't follow. So check it out. Instantly, it figured out what we were doing. So now all I got to do is hit enter and accept it. In fact, I'll go up here and I'll get between these two and drag it out so Stevie Ray Vaughan has some room to move around. And I want you to notice that every one of these showed up and none of them have a formula, so we don't have to worry about formulas. More importantly, Gable was not capitalized. Either was Turner or Bogart or McCall. And because of that one thing we added, it picked up on it and said, oh, is that what you want to do? And when we use this example in our intro class, it's a whole nother formula using the proper function to be able to make it into a proper name or a proper noun. Pretty cool. But we still have a problem. The first names haven't been capitalized. And the reason is we didn't do anything different to suggest to the machine learning that that's what we want to do. So let's try it now. Click on this one. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to get right there where the C is. I'm going to backspace and I'm going to put in a capital C. And if I hit enter, if machine learning is paying attention, let's see what happens to Lana, Lauren, and I guess those are the only ones. Bingo. It figured out what we were doing, and just by hitting enter, it's done it. So again, two different formulas to make that happen in the intro class. And then because there's formulas in here and they're all referencing different cells, you have to figure out how to get those formulas out of there. And of course, we teach how to copy and paste special, in this case, paste values, which eliminates the formula. But we don't have to do that here. So, and again, in the interest of time, I see that we're moving very quickly, but this one here, someone else said, well, that's great, Mr. J, but at our site, we have the full names and we actually want them last name and first. So what's the formula for that? Well, the formula we use actually uses a feature called nested functions, and it's very complex. And for the first months that I was teaching this class, I was writing out this giant formula on the whiteboard in the lab and then having students enter it, and half of them would miss a spot. Why? Because it looks like Greek and it's hard to understand what it all is. But again, we're not doing formulas, we're doing flash fill. So what's the last name of Clark Gable? It's Gable. So I put that in, I make sure it's spelled right, I hit enter. And the next one's Garter, so let's see what happens. Oh, sure enough, it's instantly thinking we're trying to do something else. And now I just hit the R, and instantly it knows what we're doing. We hit enter, we're good. Holy cow, are you kidding me? So let's go over here to Clark, capital C, L-A-R-K, and there it is, it's spelled correctly. I hit enter, and of course Ava starts with an A, something totally different. So I simply hit the shift key, tap in my A, instantly knows what we're doing, hit enter. That's pretty slick. So right there, you see a second example of flash fill. Well, I'm about to blow your mind. Wait, there's more. On example 3, check this out. So if we wanted to have over here in H2, and I'm just going to spread that out just so it's a little easier to look at, we want to have the street address.
Janet Hernandez.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold that thought. I got this. I learned where all my buttons are, so I can take care of that. Okay, here we go. Thank you. Just using some Zoom things. So over here in H2, if we had to come up with a formula that combined the information in column C, then adds a comma and a space, and then the information in D, and then a space, and then so on and so forth to get the full address in one line, that would be pretty impressive. But here's flash fill, way more impressive. So I'm simply going to do this. And again, never hit return until you make sure everything's just right, because you can't go back and then do it again. Machine learning is going to go, ah, you lost me. I don't know what I'm doing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, space, first, street. All right, I'm looking at it. Looks just like what's in column C. We're good. And now we're going to add a comma. We're going to add a space. We're going to type in San Diego. All right, that's looking all right. And then we just put a space, and then we put a capital CA, just like in column E. That's looking pretty good. And I hit the space bar again, and then I'm going to be double sure that I'm making sure I got the right one. So 92001. I look over here, 92001. This is 92001. I look back, and sure enough, we've got that all correct. So I'm going to hit enter. And since the next one down, the next address starts with an 8, it's not a 1, watch what happens when I, again, it's already been selected right there. This is H3. As soon as I tap an 8, watch what happens. Okay, then I hit enter. Now I want you to appreciate something. Here's another trick, by the way. If you have your mouse and you're somewhere in the middle of a long file like this, you can hold it still, and you have a left click, you have a right click, you have a mouse wheel that rolls back and forth. But if you hold the mouse wheel still and you push down on it, that's a third click. And then that symbol shows up. And then when you move it away from your original spot, don't click any more buttons. The further away you move it, the faster it goes. So you can just go really fast, or you can go up really fast, or you can go right, or you can go left. That's a pretty cool little thing. And how did I do that? All I did was hold my mouse still. I center click the mouse wheel, get that symbol, and go like that. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because I've taken my hand off of the mouse and I'm scrolling, and I'm just here to remind you that there were 473 different students with addresses in column C, D, E, and F. And by simply using machine learning, the flash fill feature, we did something and manipulated that data with no formulas whatsoever. In fact, if you recall, we had the address up there. It was the second one. It started with an 8. You see it up there in the formula bar. And we added a comma and did all these cool things, and look how that showed up. That's pretty slick, and I'm hopeful you think so too. So here's what I'm going to say at this point. And by the way, what's the next trick? You do Control Home. We did that one time before. Takes us back up to the top. So we've just shared with you all kinds of amazing things that you can do with Excel. I apologize that this will end up being a long video. So if you have some questions, if you'll just hold off for about 30 seconds or so after I stop talking, because sometimes people like to say goodbye or something, but I just want to say thank you so much for coming to learn with us today. We're so grateful that you're taking the time to improve your skills in whatever side or department you're at. Remember, all the skills that you've learned, you just apply them to whatever thing you're doing, where you're doing it, and We appreciate you coming to do that with us so that you can improve your skills, because at the end of the day, this is going to benefit our students, and that's what this is all about. So again, you have a handbook. You've got a bunch of shortcut different information, things that I've sent to you in PDF forms. If you're trying to do something and you can't figure it out, do what I always do, Google it. But make sure if you're talking about the ribbon, you call it a ribbon or whatever. Use the terms that are in there. Learn to use those names, and you will find all kinds of information about what you need to do. So thank you so much for coming today, and I'll say goodbye to everyone in about 30 seconds, and we can have people chime in and ask their questions. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was great. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Hope to see you in a